All right, guys, I'm going to bring in Gators on Baseball.
A podcast with balls.
What's up, everybody? Scares on Baseball, Schmitty and Christian. And I got a little text message tonight, a little inside information that the old G&E were taking the night off. So I was like, man, I don't know, you diehards out there, you might want some baseball talk. So Christian and I are here. I don't know how long this will go because we kind of exhausted a lot of issues just 2 nights ago, but I did go to Fanfest today, so we can talk about that. Christian, what's going on with you?
Not a lot. Just been working all day, and it's been pouring rain. So, yeah, it's wet, but other than that, it's good. I'm a little jealous. You went to Sacto and saw a bunch of the heavies. Like good selection of guys from the roster. I like it.
Man, I just realized what I already knew, but it takes sometimes being in the moment to just be like, dude, I'm a fan. I fucking love the Giants. Like, I'm up there. I'm older than these guys. It's raining. Like, what am I doing? I just miss baseball, and I'm getting close to these guys. What's up, Anthony? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I woke up. My friend pulled up around 6 a.m. He's texting me. I'm out front. So I let him slide his car into our garage so it'd be safe. And then we went down to Phil's. 6:30 it opens. Got the coffee. Jumped in the car. Drove straight to the gas station. Filled up the tank. Pew! I think we were on the road at like 10 to 7, and I think we got there at 8:15. Babe Rocks, how are you?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, at that time of the morning, it's like 2 hours, 45 minutes and change to Sac?
No, dude, like I think we got there in an hour and a half or something.
Wow.
Like, yeah, we were just
hauling
there was
ass.
there was no not hauling ass, but I didn't get any traffic, but there was rain, so I was
little hydroplane, like
we were maybe at 75.
Damn.
Yeah,
Anthony
says
this solid rain.
Senior, I wanted to talk to you about this. Look, I got some stuff to say after this day. We can get into exactly the details of Fanfest in a little bit, but I just want to give a huge shout out to the city of Sacramento. These guys showed up in numbers in the rain. I mean, I did too, but it was great. Like, there was more people there than Napa or San Jose, and it's pouring rain. They don't let you in. I think we were there 8:30, so we were there in the rain for an hour and a half, just standing in line waiting for them to open the gates. And dude, everyone in Sac is pumped. Everyone I talk to is just like so hyped. Like, they love the Giants, they love the River Cats, and they're so fired up for the A's. Like, it's like that town is hungry, and it's going to be a great baseball season up there.
Yeah. They're going to be lighting a green beam up there, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how the beam transfers from. I mean, it's pretty close. We'll see if they do the beam. But I'll tell you this. So when we got inside, of course, like, I'm looking around, I'm like, there's no new seats. There's no bleachers development or anything. But what there is a whole lot of dirt mounds everywhere. They dug out the whole field. The field is not there right now. It's just a bunch of dirt. And then the scoreboard's gone. There's just wires out there. So, I mean, I don't know when opening day is for them. I'm guessing maybe they're on the road and then they come home. But either way, like, whatever, like March or April 2nd or 3rd, that thing's got to be ready. Today's February 1st. So what, 2 months? It's going to be interesting, man. Like, my friend was asking me, he's like, do you think they're going to get this stuff done in time? And I was like, they have no choice. They have to get it done.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
you know?
Totally. Forgive me for 1 second. I'm trying to bring something up here. So yeah. So what was who all was there? What was going on? Give us a little rundown.
Well, so when we got in, I learned this from San Jose. There's 2 lines, and they're on. Okay, so there's one autograph stand all the way up the first base line, and then the other one is all the way up the third base line, and then right behind home plate is a Q&A with FP Santangelo, and so and then there's a photo booth like kind of in between. So basically there's 4 stations, and then they like, this station has these 2 guys, and then on the hour they all rotate, right? So if you stay at one station, everyone will come through that station eventually. Like it's 1 hour, and at the hour they change. And so, but what I learned in San Jose that was super good, it helped us a lot, is one of the 2 autograph lines has a special no wait line for season ticket holders. So it's kind of like Disneyland, how you have that fast pass.
The e-ticket, man.
Dude, like that's how we got like 3 or 4 Lucianos that way, because we were just looping, like coming through. So we went straight to that station and just hung out there the whole day. And we got Grant McCrae was there. Dude, it was sick. Grant's so sick. Like I walked up and I was like, I wonder if he's gonna like remember me or whatever. And he's like, Schmitty, what's up? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Like super personable. And I was just like, dude, I'm so hyped right now. And he signed, like I had 4 of his cards. He signed them. He said he's living in Arizona and everyone's down there already and the vibes are really good. And he's trying to maybe find a place to rent for the season in San Francisco so he doesn't stay at the hotel this year. And he was with Elliot Ramos.
Right.
I mean, dude, I'm just like, I took a photo of those 2 guys together and I went back home and I'm going through my photos and I'm like, I want these 2 guys in the outfield. Like, I want to watch these guys develop for like 5 to 7 years. Yep. Like Grant is, I mean, dude, I want to see those guys play, with Jung-Hoo Lee in center and stuff. It could be really amazing. So those guys were super personable though. Like everyone seems super stoked. Like the players are like, all the players, like, because when the Q&A is going on, the speakers are all over the whole stadium. So no matter where you are, you can hear the Q&A. Oh, and Buster Posey was there too.
Yeah.
And so Buster did the first Q&A and they're talking to him about the team and all this stuff. But one thing I learned was pitchers and catchers don't report, I think, not till maybe 10 days from now.
Yeah, it's still like,
but everyone is already there.
Sure they are.
And they've been there and they're like texting each other, working out together. Like the camaraderie this year is above any year in the past. Like they're like, they just feel this vibe that's like a real team, like together, like, there's a lot of love and the vibes are amazing. And that just, I don't know, that kind of stuff resonates with me. Like, I think it's really powerful and a lot of good can happen when like you got somebody's back. Like this guy strikes out and you go, don't worry, dude, I'm going to pick you up right now. That kind of stuff is huge. And, so those were the vibes. Logan Webb was by himself, which was interesting because everybody else was paired up. Like there was two, and then Logan was solo. And Logan, when I got his autographs, and I'm like, hey, Logan, I thank you, appreciate you. And he's like, yeah, man, I'll see you at Oracle. Like he's like, I'm like, oh man, these guys recognize me from being out there so much. Yeah. But no, I mean, the vibes are good, guys. Babe, Senior, whoever else is in here, Anthony, like, I think nobody's whining and complaining or feeling like we should have got more people or any of that. And a lot of the fans, because I'm in line for an hour and a half before we get in, and then you're in line with people for the autographs. So there's a lot of time where you're just in line with people. And so I always just talk baseball around me. And I'm like, what do you guys think about Verlander? You know, because Glenn had told me, like, if you do an interview, you got to ask the hard questions. Ask them what they think about a 42-year-old. And I was like, okay, I didn't do any interviews, but I was just asking people questions. Nobody was like, oh my God, what are they doing? It was like, I don't know, could be good and it could be not so good, but it's 1 year and the dude's a Hall of Famer. I don't think he's just going to completely forfeit. You know, the attitude was pretty much like, I don't know, 3 or 4 pitcher, maybe he gets 15 games in this year, 15, 20, if we're lucky, you know, like we'll see. That kind of was the vibe.
Yeah.
So
how much of, you know, you say there's a pretty good amount of PMA going on there. How much of that do you think has to do with Farhan being gone? Do you think like the dark cloud has lifted a little bit on the, as far as the players are concerned? Like, you know,
well, I think that both, things could be true. I think Farhan gone definitely is powerful for people like you and I, right? That are like really invested in the team and know the kind of politics or back end and all that stuff. But I think there was a lot of fans that probably might not even know really. They probably heard of Farhan, but they're just Giants fans and they like baseball. Like they don't know that in depth. And I think those people were just stoked that baseball is coming. Like that's what it felt like to me, was that like, it's coming, guys. It's almost here. Like that feeling, you know? And I guess Sacto's not doing that good in basketball. Maybe it sounded like a few people were saying like, yeah, the Kings aren't playing that good this year and and it's really going to be interesting to see like the A's up here, but like, I'm still going to go to a bunch of River Cat games, you know, like that kind of stuff. So
cool. Well, let me see if I can bring this up here, because I saw this earlier and it just cracked me up.
Yes, Senior was like, check out the Dodgers game. I'm like, dude, they were charging for Fanfest at the Dodger Stadium. What do we got? Oh,
I saw this earlier and I cracked.
Click the audio button.
Here we go. Let's see if we can get the audio going.
Hey, can you guys watch my box for a second? Hey, can you guys watch my box for a second? I watch it twice.
That's amazing. Buster doesn't even know what to do. He's like, you fucker. That's awesome, man. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. It's just like, what other teams are going to do that to their, you know, what do they call it? Pobo?
Yeah. And Buster's expression is like, really? Are you going to do me like that?
He's like, you're putting me on blast, bro. Come on.
Look, grinning from ear to ear. So I think like that kind of vibe is good. If that's the vibe that these guys have right now, great, man. You know, and they got to be stoked on Buster. I mean, they're like looking at that dude going, let's see, batting champion, rookie of the year, 3 World Series. You know, he's done it all. So yeah, man, it's like, I think that gives those guys a motivation that they're not going to get from a math nerd, right? They're getting it from one of their peers, a guy who's already been there and done that. And they're looking at that going, this guy is truly a cream of the crop, right? So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Tyler Fitzgerald was up there too. And the confidence that McRae, as you know, from our interview, he's a very confident kid.
Yep.
And that just, I don't know, dude. I gotta show you guys a little something I made today, because I started thinking about it on the drive home, and I was thinking like, this might need to be a little running thing.
Hey, this is Grant McRae. You're listening to Skaters on Baseball.
High drive. Nice fly ball out. McRae swings. He bounced one. McRae hammers one deep into right center field. High drive. Right field. On a hair. Oh my goodness.
Dude, when that crowd gets roaring, man, oh, there ain't nothing like it.
There it
Yeah.
is. There it
Let
is.
McCray play. That's my new anthem. That's my new motto. I got his back. I want him in. I know everybody wants Matos, but I'm rooting for McCray. I decided it today.
Yeah. You know what the great thing about him is? You know, a lot of times you see a young guy with a little swagger like that, and you're like, yeah, come back in a couple of years and show me that. But with Grant, I don't know, man. There's something about it. It's like he's carrying it, you know, like he's not. I don't think he's being out of line with it, and I like it because most of the guys on the Giants are fairly understated when it comes to the attitude and the sort of outward, you know, just the swagger, right? Like not a lot of guys that have that. So got to have a dude like that, you know.
Dude, I can't even imagine McCray and Adamas together. Like I'm thinking like those personalities are just going to be like so cool watching, like, you know, because Grant's still young. So I mean, he might have confidence, but he's still looking at the older guys as like examples and how to like be and, you know, all the different things. But oh yeah,
he's
if
in
he
the
gets
top.
on base, he could steal 40 bags, I think.
Yeah, not only that, but he's in the top 5 in the league with arm velocity.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the Giants, you know, they don't have anybody in the top 5 or 6 in terms of outs above average. But then right down the list, you got Chapman, okay, and you got the Giants outfield, which
And
between all
Schmidt,
those guys, yeah, they got great arms. They're getting the ball in with a lot of velocity and accuracy too, you know. So I know we took a little heat in the comments after the fact on the stream the other night about the team not being so young and all that stuff, but yeah, most of the guys on the team are pretty young, you know, and that's exciting. I'm going to stand by what I said the other night. I don't care, you know.
Okay, like check out my chin, right? It wasn't always this color. When these guys are telling me 29 is old, I just don't even know what to say, man. Oh boy. But yeah, dude, like I mean, what, Fitzgerald's probably 28, 29. He's old for a rookie. For sure, I would say that, right? Like last year was his rookie year. But dude, again, the potential these guys have with speed, like if you get Fitzgerald on base, he can steal. He can stretch a base out of a base too. Like what I mean by that is if somebody hits a single, he might get to third from first instead of just stopping at second. He's got that kind of speed. He basically on KMBR, he said he's the fastest on the team. It's like a fact, like, you know, all their little time watches, like Fitzgerald's the fastest. What I want to know, and I wish I said it to McCray today, was like, hey, Grant, is that true that Fitzgerald's faster than you? I'd love to hear his answer on that.
Oh, man.
What's up, Robert? How you living?
Yeah, Robert's here.
Just fired up, man.
Like
I went to Fanfest today and I feel like a little kid. It brought the youth out in me, you know, the Peter Pan syndrome, forever young, whatever you want to say. It was just really cool to like, I mean, what am I doing? I'm up at 6 a.m. driving an hour and a half to Sacramento to stand in the rain for an hour and a half to go in and get autographs from these guys. And it feels like on paper, I'm a moron. But I told my wife, I was like, I don't know why. I really can't explain it, but it makes me feel really good. It's like one of the things. And when I got back, I had an analogy too. I was telling her, I was like, with all the bullshit in this world right now, with all the politics of religion and abortion versus this and all this stuff that's just like so divisive and argumental, it's so refreshing to be in a stadium with like 20,000 people that are all rooting for the same thing. And you look at the guy next to you that you don't know and you high five his ass hella hard. And it's just like, that is something this world needs more of. And baseball brings that, man. And it is just cool. I love it.
It's a healthy form of escapism. You know, it's a 3-hour commitment to a thing that we love. And for me, I almost get equal joy from either going to the stadium or watching a game on TV or listening on the radio while I happen to be doing something else, right? Like it's baseball. It's the Giants. It's like I get hyped on that. I can listen to Flem and Miller on the radio. I can get Kruk and Kipe on TV, or I can go to the yard and just enjoy the actual sound that's coming out. The organ player at Oracle, right? Like all of it. It's like, it's great. And so, yeah, like for us, the off season is tough, but like you're getting these opportunities to go to the Fanfest. I mean, they only do what, 2 or 3 a year. So yeah, is it worth driving 2 hours and standing in the rain? I'd say so.
For me, there's no question. I mean, I came home feeling like this buzz that like I haven't had in a while, and so that's the answer right away. Like already, it's just like even Cheryl, my wife, she's just like, man, I'm so glad you had a good time. Like that's awesome. Yeah, Giant Sports Talk Live. We heard you were taking the night off, so we said we're gonna save the people. This is for the people. What's up,
man.
Eric? I wish I didn't know why you guys aren't doing it, but I heard a little bit about it, so we were like, let's jump on, let's see what's up. Yeah.
So I actually I was helping my mom do some stuff today, and I had MLB Network on in the background. It's kind of every once in a while glancing at the ticker. And for everybody who thinks the Giants, haven't done much in the offseason, could be the Angels, who only signed Jorge Soler. In terms of acquisitions, I mean, I think Miami only acquired one guy. I mean, they're not at the bottom of the pile with all that stuff, and like you said the other night, and I believe the same thing. I don't think they're quite done. Everybody's talking about this Luis Robert thing. Like, well, the first go around didn't work, but they may still be after him. Right. And there's other opportunities too. So I think who knows what's going to go on. I mean, they're talking now like dudes signing in like late March, possibly.
Well, it happened last year, and it's all because of Scott Boras, and it really needs to stop. And whether they have to have the meetings and there's going to be a strike because it's so much of an issue, who knows? But things have to change. The way they're doing it right now, it's just bullshit. And for somebody that's wanting baseball to grow and worried that other things are becoming cooler for the kids and they're trying to figure things out by changing little rules and tampering with it all, the obvious stuff is make it more exciting. Have a smaller window. These guys have to sign by this time, only in this time. Bing, 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 bing. I want to see pinball with these dudes getting hired, signed. You can't wait. If it's spring training and you're not signed, you're not playing this year, or you got to wait till the All-Star game. Like, they should have penalties that are serious enough that the people don't, just like, dude, I'm making 20 million. I need 21. Give me a break. Just give me a break. But Juan Pierre, hell yeah. Pull up, because you had Logan's Instagram. Can you pull up Manny Machado's Instagram?
Oh, let's see if I can.
Share that with everybody. And it's exactly what I've been saying for days. Listen to this guy. Are we frustrated we haven't got anybody yet? Yes, we are. Padres are going to be 4th place, boys. Put money on it.
Yeah. Give me one moment here. So
Eric,
listen,
did you see our video, Eric? We just played a little video you might want to see. I don't know. I'll play this while Christian's looking for things.
All right, what am I looking for? Manny Machado?
Manny Machado, his most recent post.
Hey, this is Grant McCrae. You're listening to Skaters on Baseball.
High drive.
Nice fly ball out. McCrae swings. He bounced one.
McCrae hammers one. Deep into right center field. High drive. Right field. Out of here. Oh, my goodness.
Dude, when that crowd gets roaring, man, there ain't nothing like it.
That's our new slogan. Let McCrae play. That's the vibe I got.
All right, let's get into this, and then I got another topic to talk about.
Oh, did you find it?
Yeah. It's
about getting players. Oh no. What?
He's trying to take that airplane out.
Play golf with the most.
No way. That can't be it.
Huh.
All right.
Maybe it wasn't his. Maybe it was the dugout report or something. I don't know. Let me look.
Okay,
What's your other that you bring up?
I saw something interesting today, and they were talking about the whole deferment issue. And I guess the reason why nobody's making a big stink about it right now is because the CBA is expiring. And so in terms of getting, whatever negotiating power the players union is going to get after this, nobody really wants to touch that hot potato, which I think is interesting. And it just has happened to all fall in the Dodgers' favor. But I still think those checks are going to bounce, man. They're out over $1 billion. What, really? I mean, sure, they can generate revenue, but Eric's saying there's going to be a strike next year. Really? Baseball can't afford to have another strike, Eric.
So
they took such a bad hit, especially the second time around was really ugly. And I don't think baseball has ever really 100% recovered from that strike. What was that, 94?
Can you read that?
Are we disappointed we haven't made any moves? Yeah. Well, you have made moves. You've lost dudes. You might
Manny on a bad one. Remember him not hustling in the playoffs?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tatis and Manny not happy. Here's the thing I gotta say about the deferment, and I've said it all along. It's BS. It's an Ohtani rule, just like they made the rule that you can pitch and then come in and they made a whole new rule just for Ohtani because he was a pitcher and they were making it so when he came out, he didn't have to come out of the game, but that wasn't a rule. And they made it so that Ohtani could stay in the game. And Ohtani's the only person that can defer the type of money that he's deferring. Nobody on the Giants can defer that kind of money. Not even Willie Adames. Like nobody is making enough money on the side to be able to say, I don't need any money right now.
Right.
And Ohtani makes so much money off all this other stuff that he can put aside $600 million. That's crazy. Like just the fact that Ipe stole $13 million from him and he didn't even know about it, supposedly.
That's the other Ohtani rule. That's the other Ohtani rule. You can gamble and blame it on your interpreter and get away with it, right? That's another Ohtani rule. I mean, come on, right?
It's all BS. And I like the Ohtani, but I can't support him. He's I think he's avoiding taxes in California. While California has this bad rap or whatever people want to say, it's like, it's just bullshit. We need support, not like, oh, we're hiding and then we're going to move away and then get taxed somewhere else. It's just, I don't know. I could go on forever about that. And he's a Dodger and that just makes it worse.
Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that when they go into the new negotiations and everything. I don't see a strike happening because I don't think baseball can afford it. So probably the league and the ownership groups and all that will cave to the players union to some extent. But yeah, maybe they have stipulations that make sure the clubs have the money, but there's no guarantee that they'll have the money, The Dodgers suddenly take a big hit in their revenue, like they're going to have to come up with it somewhere, and they have to take out a loan. I don't know, I mean, and Soto didn't defer money to go to the Mets, did he?
This is my point. He cannot do it. He's not making. Soto is not a marketable guy. He's a great player, but he's a prima donna. And how many commercials do you see Soto in? How many ads do you see of Soto? Not many. Ohtani's in everything. He's all over social media. He's in New Balance. He's in Coke. He's in Taco Bell. He's in freaking everything. And he makes millions of dollars, and the Dodgers make millions of dollars off Ohtani's merchandise, and they put that into the bank, and then they can use that for deferring. Like it's all strategic business, and they're making tons of money because they got the Japanese market. And so they're making all this money from Japanese media and all that kind of stuff. It's going to pay itself off. But my point is, the only way it could happen is for Ohtani. If you take Ohtani out, deferring wouldn't be a problem because it would be even for all teams. Like most players, they can defer a little bit. They can't defer 80% of their salary. Nobody can do that.
Well, I mean, the Dodgers did defer a lot of other guys on top of him, though, too.
But not that. Not
don't have that kind of.
Here's $4 million out of my 24 or something, But it's Ohtani's doing 600 million or something crazy.
Yeah, his endorsement deals. The New Balance deal alone was what was it? 62 million a year, I think.
Japanese Taco Bell.
Yeah, 68 million a year he gets just from New Balance, right? So he's got money now.
You guys, I don't want to. I hate to talk political, but I just want to say, are we still running for the border with tariffs? I think Taco Bell's in the
those commercials. It's like I always used to laugh and think like, yeah, I got runs from the border.
Is it okay for because I know we can't make fun of other people's dialect, like I can't give a Mexican accent, but can a Chihuahua still? Is that okay? Quiero Taco Bell. Like that's fine. Guido Sarducci, would he be okay in today's world? We don't know.
That stuff has all gone the way of the dinosaur, I think.
38. Where are you, Krister? Or is that Christer? Christer or Krister? 38 degrees. Ooh.
It actually warmed up here with the rain, It's not quite as cold, but it isn't cold to me, down in Southern California. I think it's in the 70s. I'm missing out.
It was cold, dude. So in Sac, when the last hour, my legs were shaking a little bit. It was getting cold. I had been wet, and it was if I was there another hour, I think it would have started to get a little bit closer to the miserable. But I manned it out. It was great. I got heated seats for the ride back. I was good.
Yeah, it does get a little chilly up in Sac. There's been a couple times I've been up there, and it's it's just a hop, skip, and a jump from Placerville, and Snow Country is up the road just a little bit, so it does get chilly for sure. I asked my uncle if he was going to make it to Fanfest. He's like, no, I'm too old for that shit. He's like, I'm just waiting for the season to start, the Cats games to start. And he's apparently scored a couple of A's tickets. Wants me to come up and
that'd be
take
cool.
an A's game, so that'd be fun.
Do that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, here's a little look at what I got today, guys. These are all the cards I got signed today up there in the Fanfest. So it was a pretty good day. We got 15 cards, not bad, right? For a little afternoon, and it was a good drive. Get out of the city and.
Damn, so, you wore Ramos's hand out.
I know McRae did 5. Yeah. Ramos did 5 too.
Ramos got 6. You got 6 Ramos.
Yeah.
So listen, I have a question. I had this thought today since you told me that we were going to go on. I was like, I should go out and buy a pack of baseball cards and then open them up live on this just to see, because I never do that. And then I was thinking, like, where do you even buy baseball cards anymore? Like, they used to sell them at every liquor store, every. And
hate to say the word, but Walmart, Target, they usually have them. Right. But baseball card shops, if you did that, I would be like,
I don't want to do random little kid way, right? With gum or no?
Well, they have this is on loop or something.
You got the golf clap.
Bye. They have fewer and fewer baseball card shops. They used to have one at least in every county, and now I think it's less and less. But
there was a big one in Palo Alto for years on El Camino. It's probably long gone now, but there was one that was down in my neck of the woods over there.
Robert, you got tickets for what? Are we talking Valkyries? Are we talking A's, River Cats, Giants, Warriors, Sharks? I'm down for any of it, but free of charge. That's very kind. What's the date and who are we? Oh, Giants. I'm 100% in. Done.
Nice.
Thank you. If that works out, great. If it doesn't, I appreciate the sentiment.
It's a good thing it's not Warriors tickets, because after the game they played last night, whoo, I don't think I've seen a worse shooting performance than that in a long time. And basketball is not really my thing, but I was like, damn, even Curry wasn't hitting last night.
Curry apparently, according to all the geniuses that are on the socials and the chat and the phone calls, Curry's just not the same anymore. Curry's old. We need to trade him.
He's kind of like Lamont Wade. Like, his knees have been terrible for years and years, right?
I think he has like a glass ankle.
Yeah,
if he tweaks his ankle, it usually takes him out for a week at least. But I mean,
to be fair, that dude's gotten beat up for the last several years. Like, he was taking some hard fouls off guys all the time.
He is running around like crazy the whole time. But the cool part about the Warriors not being that good and the 49ers sucking is everybody's going to talk about that less, hopefully, and we can get into some goddamn baseball talk. It's baseball season. Niners is done. Warriors, okay, they might be there. The Valkyries are coming in May or something. It's baseball talk. It's time. These guys are going to be in Arizona. Kruk and Kuiper are going to be down there, like, I think in 3 weeks or something. There's going to be announcing a game, I believe February 20th or somewhere around there. I mean, it's coming, guys. It's baseball. Let's go.
Yeah. I was laughing the other day because I flipped on KMBR and your favorite bitter man, Larry Krueger, apparently is back on KMBR in the afternoon now.
I'm not.
You're not feeling Larry Krueger, right? And
I'm not a Larry Krueger fan, but guess what? Larry Krueger actually isn't that bad compared to that Dieter guy. Yeah. Dieter's the worst. I think I used to think Murph was the worst, but Dieter is the worst for sure. Yeah. I can't even listen to him. He seems like he just reads a headline and just says the opposite. That's like how he does his thing. I don't know if it's shtick or if he truly believes it, but he's like the most negative dude I've ever heard. And I just, at some point, I'm going like, well, why don't you go to LA? Like, they would love what you're saying, like go somewhere where the fans don't like the Giants and talk your negativity. Don't bring it here.
He's got that Bob Nightingale vibe when it comes to the Giants, where Bob Nightingale's never going to give the Giants credit for anything. And he's going to sit there and he's going to talk a lot of shit from his USA Today desk in whatever city he's in. And it's just like, dude, just write about other teams. Don't write about the Giants. We don't need to hear it.
You know who I've been getting into lately, and I might get bashed for this, but Crowley, dude, he's like pretty on it. He looks like a goddamn little kid. He's so whatever, but his knowledge and his attitude is more in tune with what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Is he the Trustafarian looking kid on KMBR? Is that who we're talking about, or is it somebody else?
Crowley?
Yeah.
Crowley looks younger than Dave Fleming. Like he looks like a kid, and he's not. But he has a good voice, and he has and I think he's from Foster City.
Oh, all right.
You know who Dieter, or not Dieter, but the other guy, Krueger, you know who he reminds me of? Is the guy that was the writer for the paper with the mustache that went like this.
Ray Ratto?
Ray Ratto. Hate that guy too.
Come on. Ray Ratto's God, dude.
Ray Ratto sucks. These fat people that think they know about baseball and they've never played it. It's just like, I can't handle it, dude. It's like your opinions are, you're a bitter person. You're very,
I'll tell you, Ray Ratto, time and place, man. When I was working at Deluxe and I was taking Bart and Muni into the city every day from Oakland, I was reading the SF Chronicle every day. And so Ray Ratto was on the green sheet. And when the Giants were bad, he was talking real truth about it. You know, he was brutally honest about how the Giants were playing and everything. And I appreciate that. You know, I don't want people to be negative just for the point of being negative, but it's like his criticisms of the team and the management and everything that was going on there, he was on point, you know.
This is the point I make about that, though. It's like, of course he is, because he's a negative fuck. He never says anything positive. So when the negative stuff is there, of course he's calling out the negative shit, but he calls negative shit out on everything. And it's like, dude, go watch the Raiders. I don't care about you. Get out of here.
Well, I got one person who agrees with me.
Well, yeah, Dieter over Ratto for sure. I hate Dieter. Dieter is number one in the worst for me. Hey, B!
Yeah, for sure.
My dog wants to say hello. Hey,
Oh yeah.
B! Yeah, but anyway, I'm sorry. I don't like getting so negative and wound up, but
The negative for me has turned me in a positive direction, though, right? Like there's certain elements of negativity out there that have driven me more towards your way of thinking over the past.
dude, you've become a different guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe,
I like it.
Maybe it's like kind of an echo chamber that I don't want to hear myself in. I don't really know, but like I got like some good positive vibes about the Giants this year. I think like maybe it's just coming out from under Farhan. Maybe it's just this other negative universe that we've been looking at and going like, nah, man, not really feeling it. I'm stoked. I'm stoked on these guys, man. I can't wait for it to start.
Yeah, and I understand the criticism and everything, but I would just say, why critique anything that hasn't happened yet? Like your anticipatory anxiety is getting the best of you. It's like anything can happen, including more moves and acquisitions.
Yep.
And maybe this team wins a lot. You don't know. On paper is different than on the field.
Yeah.
And that's a t-shirt.
Yeah. And I think there's something to be said for the philosophy entering the season. If the Giants go into it going, you know what, the Dodgers are who they are. Let's not even really focus on the Dodgers. Let's focus on beating everybody else, you know? And we know even when the Giants and Dodgers squads have been lopsided in the past, they've still played them pretty even throughout a season. You know, most years they're usually splitting those series, right? It's not super lopsided. Maybe the Dodgers come out one game on top. Maybe the Giants come out one game on top. So I think if they just don't even really worry about that.
That's all I got to say right there.
Yeah.
Padres are going to wind up below the Giants. The Giants don't get owned by anyone. Like they play with all those teams. Like they might lose to the Dodgers, but it's like they lose by one run. Like it's not, when they get pounded, it's really an anomaly. It's like 3 or 4 times a year that they like, you know, give up like 16 runs. It's like 16-1. And you're like, what the hell happened?
Every team has that though, you know. I'm actually more concerned with these guys that are perennial Giants killers, the individual players, like Kike Hernandez, okay, who's just a jackass, but like he always comes up big against the Giants, right? And there's these certain guys on certain teams that have always just kind of beat up on the Giants, and it's like, okay, you know, worry about that. Worry about these teams and these giant juggernauts of players. Like the individual guys are dangerous. So
I think it's going to be interesting. And yeah, we always talk about kind of the same things, but the thing that really bothers me is this whole trade Logan Webb and throw in the towel and just like start from scratch. It makes zero sense to me. I listen to it all the time and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. You'd rather just go backwards and hope that that is a better solution than what you have. Like you never want to go backwards. And I love like, okay, we're going to feather out some stuff and start this, but like, we're going to and try to, I don't know. And Logan Webb for me is the Giants of this era. Like he is the captain of the team if there was a captain. He just embodies the team, like him and Buster playing together like that on Instagram. Not everybody's doing that with Buster. I promise you that. And Logan is that guy.
Yep.
That stuff means a lot. People don't understand that. And throwing 200 innings, it means a lot. You're saving the bullpen and just showing up every day and being a part of the rah-rah squad, even if you're not playing. Like, I can't say enough good things about Logan Webb. He's like one of the best, you know, and he's always top 10 finisher for Cy Young. And he gets no love. Like, he gets the Matt Cain treatment as far as run support. I mean, this guy would have a lot more wins if the team could score 3 or 4 runs when he pitches.
Yeah.
He loses a lot of 1-0 and 2-1 games.
Yeah, he got the Matt Cain treatment a lot, but Logan's been the one constant over the past so many seasons now that, like, everything else has kind of been a swap in, swap out. Guys have come, guys have left, but Logan's been the guy. He's been in there, and he's just a competitor. You know, the times that I've seen him pitch, like live, it's amazing to watch him pitch. Doesn't get rattled. He works hard. He wants to stay out there. He wants to pitch complete games if he can. Like, that's the guy. That's the guy you want to anchor the whole thing, you know?
I mean, Ray, Hicks, Verlander, any of those guys is tradable before Logan Webb to me. What's up, Sour Vanilla? So Senior's got this. And so I have this question for this. So you live in the now, which is fine. Trading Webb would be for the future. So when you say that, what are you thinking you're trading for? Are you trading for draft picks? Are you trading for proven young guys? Like, what are you thinking you're going to get for Logan Webb that's the future?
I you know, when his contract is up, in 2 years, like, who knows where he's going to be at and where the Giants are going to be at. You know, at that point, maybe that's when you start having that conversation.
Love him, set him free.
I saw that. Going into that, where now he's going to pending free agent. I think that's when you have that conversation. You know, like, do we let him go or do we extend him? You know, they gave him a 5-year extension that he's currently on, and, you know, let's just see where it goes. I don't know that trading him. I don't think the return on the trade is going to be something that's going to make the Giants better, and I think that's the issue. You know, especially when you got a lot of guys in the rotation who aren't proven, you know, quality start every time out, like Logan. You know, he's giving you a minimum of 6 full. So yeah, like, you got these guys, you don't know how many innings Robbie Ray is going to give you. You don't know how many innings anybody's going to give you. Webb's the one dependable dude, right?
Yeah, and like, okay, so you get rid of Webb, you trade him, whatever you do. Who's going to replace those 200 innings? Not one player, because we don't have anybody on the team that can do that. Sour Vanilla coming in hot, man. I hope you subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 200 subs, and then we're going to have a weekly show committed. And we need guys like you, Mariner fan or not. I love it, dude.
I was like reading that, and I was trying to pay attention to you, and I was skimming that, and I thought it said, I know the ladies up here miss him in his extra small pants and meatballs. I was like, oh no.
Throwing tiny meatballs.
Small pants.
He wears some tight pants, that's for sure.
Oh, hilarious. So yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's a little, you know, the anxiety is there because it's like, I want it to get going already, you know. And shit, it's let McRae play.
Let McRae play, man. Let McRae play. So, Senior, just give me an example of something that you would be behind as far as the Giants trading Webb. Like, if they were, let's say they trade Webb tomorrow, what is something you think is probable, like that both teams would agree on and that you'd be stoked on? That's what I want to know.
Well, I think part of
like,
that
you
is,
don't want to trade him for Vladdy. He's going to be here 1 year, right? And are we talking about a trade like that? Or are we talking about a trade for like, do you think that the Reds are going to trade Ellie De La Cruz, or that the Pirates are going to trade Skeens, or that the Nationals are going to trade Cruz? Like these young guys that are like already huge. And I don't know. I don't know what you're really going to get for Webb that would be worth it.
Yeah. And I half agree and half disagree with Senior on that the Giants simply can't attract elite hitters. I don't think that's necessarily true. I do think it's true if you're talking about elite power hitters, right? Guys who know that their home run numbers, their power numbers are going to decline a little bit at Oracle. But elite spray hitters, a guy like Luis Arias, for example, of course the Giants could get a guy like that for the right amount of money and the right deal. You know, that's not a question. I mean, think about the alleys at Oracle. Like if you're that type of hitter, dude, your numbers are going to be insane. You know?
I wish that Buster could make a three-way team trade. I think if he could like tell like the Mariners to get Arias, because the Padres aren't going to trade him to a team in their division. But if the Giants go like, we'll trade you this guy for Arias if you get Arias to another team. Hate to say it, but who does reach 200 innings now? So if they trade him, what does it matter about the innings? Well, Webb does reach 200 innings. So you need to replace those 200 innings. And how do you do that? That's my question.
Yeah.
With one guy. I get it. The bullpen and like two starters, maybe. That's three guys. And you're taxing the bullpen already because Hicks doesn't throw that long. Ray, we're not sure about. Harrison and Birdsong are young. We need a horse. And Webb is our horse.
Yeah. Verlander's not it for sure.
And trading for the future, do we know that that's a for sure thing? Like everybody wants to talk about like, you know how the Giants have made all these first round draft picks and they've all sucked. So what makes you think that Webb for the future is going to be like I just like things that are like, and Farhan did this a lot and it pissed me off. Like if he rebounds from his Tommy John, or if this happens, or maybe like, I don't want that. I want this guy like Adames. He played 160 games last year. Pencil I'm in, right? But this like, well, these guys are young and, you know, like everyone thought that that kid Thomas from the Diamondbacks, everyone was high on him and Corbin, and he went to Double-A last year. He didn't even play in the pros. Yep. These are the worries I have is like, oh, this guy's a phenom, Joey Bart. Like, and now everyone's gonna be like, oh, Joey Bart's the greatest now that he's in Pittsburgh. No, he's not.
Well, and that's the thing is that I think the way that they treated the prospects in the past was they put too much hype and emphasis on one guy that blew his head up, made it seem like he was going to be the greatest thing that ever came down the pike. And then when the guy performed subpar or even just kind of middle of the road, first of all, the fans are like, fuck this guy sucks, right? Because he's been blown up, you know, he's been made to be this larger than life guy that he isn't. And then they put a lot of undue pressure on the players too when they're at a young age. I mean, Luciano may suffer from that, or maybe he's just not that good. We don't know. I mean, all the hype is just nuts. And so hopefully there's going to be a shift in that. I think Randy Wynn being in player development is probably going to help with that. And as far as the reclamation projects that they picked up in the past, you know, you could look at some things and go, oh, Farhan's a genius. And then other things like he's an idiot. You know, I mean, the Gausman signing was fantastic, but then why didn't you retain him? What were you thinking? Like Gausman was epic for the Giants. You know, he really was.
I've actually heard a lot already about Trent Harris. He's an up and comer, and he might even pass Wisenhunt. People are saying this guy's got a lot of talent. Yeah, I mean, to me, Farhan's best move was getting rid of Melanson somehow. Like, I don't know how they did that, but it was very important and necessary. And I felt the same way about Taylor Rogers. I think, you know, all these people that were crying about Taylor Rogers, you should go to The Athletic and read the article Grant wrote this week. And it explains exactly why the Giants got rid of Taylor Rogers and why it was a good decision. The guy they didn't have any trust in him. He pitched great in the 4th and 5th inning when nothing was in the line, but they couldn't rely on him in the late innings, and they're paying him $12 million. You can replace a 4th or 5th inning pitcher, lefty or righty, for much less than they were paying that guy. And so that's it right there in the nutshell.
Yeah. And you mentioned Melanson. Was it prior to Farhan that they signed Melanson, or did Farhan bring Melanson? Yeah. There it
I
is.
love you guys, man.
There
Keep bringing it. This is why I love this place, man. You guys come in and I love it. Like,
that's
humor it up, please.
That's the hot take of the night right there.
Screen grab that.
Yeah. So did Melanson come in pre-Farhan? Was that the deal? And then he just was kind of stuck with him? Was that a Bobby Evans thing?
I think it was. Well, the Melanson thing?
Yeah. Like
it was Sabian. I think it was basically they got Melanson because the bullpen blew up in that Cubs game in the playoffs. So the offseason, they're like, we need a closer. And they threw way too much money at Melanson.
Right, but that wasn't Sabian had already passed the torch to Bobby Evans at that point.
Then it was Bobby Evans.
2016, because he signed those 1-year extensions for Romo and Casilla that sank him in the playoffs, right? Because those guys were just done. They were spent.
Yeah, actually, so it was Bobby Evans.
So it was Bobby Evans. So yeah, Melanson was like one of the worst things that ever happened to the San Francisco Giants. You know, I mean, people will talk about Barry Zito and the absurd amount of money they paid for Barry Zito for 7 years. But the reality is, his final season, dude, Zito was a king in San Francisco. You can excuse the other 6 years. Yeah.
Oh, it was a good one. And he plays a mean guitar.
Apparently.
You guys want to hear a little bit of what's the guy's name? Richard made this for us. Check this out. Wait, that's not it, I don't think. This is it. Richard Cookerly, aka Riffmaster.
Listen to that guitar.
It sounds like wow.
Damn.
We got some tunes coming in.
Crazy. Well, what do we got for the future? I mean, it's 10 days till pitchers and catchers report.
I think as somebody that went to 50 games last year, 55 actually, but I just think that Wilmer and Wade, it could work out. I think they could do better. I think they really can. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna just stay with them in hopes that Eldridge rakes in AAA and that they can bring him up as early as possible. I don't think that you want to go after Alonso, especially if he wants an opt out after 1 year. I'm definitely not into that. If you got to lose 2 draft picks for a guy that could opt out after 1 year. And also, like, Alonso's great. He would be so good as far as like the polar bear and the Coke bottle and all that stuff. I get it. But he's another guy that strikes out a ton. Mm-hmm. And the Giants need less of those guys. They already have a lot of those guys. I think Jung-Hoo Lee is going to be a guy that's not that guy. He'll strike out less than most people on the team. But between Chapman, Adames, Fitzgerald, McRae, these guys strike out a lot. And we need, like, that's why I want Arias or somebody like him that, like, he spent a whole month and didn't strike out once. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah. And, you know, and then the other questions arise. It's like, what's to become of Casey Schmitt? You know, there's like these guys that are like kind of afterthoughts now. I mean, the whole left side of the infield is just, it's done. It's sealed up. So what happens to Casey now, you know?
Well, here's my thought is if we're talking future, I think Randy Wynn goes in and he goes through all these guys and he goes Wade Meckler, meh, Wisely, meh,
Cut.
David VR, bye.
Cut.
Like there's certain guys that we know. I think Hunter Bishop's almost on that same path. It's like we don't want forever AMs, you know? We need guys that are eventually going to be in the pros. And when you bring up guys enough times and see what they got and their attitude and all of it, I just think it's clear that some of these guys need to go and make way for other youth. And, you know, we want to hear about Trent Harris. We want to hear about the guy they just signed in the Dominican. And I should know this guy's name because I've been trying to say it all day, but I'm like, is it Sanchez? It's like Joshua or whatever.
Yeah, Joshua.
But like, these are the exciting young kids that like we're looking forward to. Birdsong, he's very young. Harrison's still young. Luciano is the guy out of all of them, Schmidt, everybody, that I think this year they have to make a decision. It has to be like, we figured out how to like tweak him. We're going to just add a little oil and change a bolt here and loosen up the trucks and push him into the snake run. And he's going to be the best. Or we got to get rid of him because he's taking up space and we don't need people that are just taking up space. Like guys that are in Sacto for like that long, it's kind of like, what do you guys want to do? Do you really want to just be in Sacto for the rest of your life?
Yeah, it's Luciano's. I soured on him a while ago just because I feel like he can't play defense and he has yet to hit a major league home run. Those two things to me, like, yeah,
and that's supposed to be a strength, his power.
Yeah, he's a power guy, or he's supposed to be. So I'm real like Luciano could move. Schmidt, I still have confidence that he could really be something in San Francisco. It's just now, where does he play? What do they do with him? Does he become a DH? You know, does he become a first baseman? These are just strange questions, and I'm operating under the concept that Fitz is going to be the everyday second baseman.
Right now he is.
Yeah.
But this is the other part why I think the Giants are not done. I think there's a lot of pieces that are kind of like, well, if this guy moves, this will happen, right? I think there's a move coming and they don't know what that move is yet. They're probably trying to make some trades and this and that. But if this happens, this guy will go away. If this happens, these guys will go away. And I think those guys are Yaz, Wade, Wilmer, Fitzgerald, Schmidt, and Luciano. I think those guys are all in the mix for they could get a better player than that. And those guys will be in a trade or gone. And so that'll be interesting to see. I'll be super surprised if Fitzgerald's not the second baseman, though.
Yeah,
I think he's the real deal. I'm excited to watch him play.
Yeah, I still have this thought in the back of my head that if they package Doval and Luciano and I don't know, name a third player, that they could potentially pull off pseudo blockbuster, right, by trading those guys, because what are they really giving up if they trade those dudes away? Not much. I mean,
but nobody wants those guys. That's the problem, is like we all want to trade the guys we don't want anymore, and nobody wants to take our trash.
Well, that's
everyone wants Eldridge. They're just like, give me Eldridge. No. And then it's like, we're not talking.
Well, that's why I say it has to be a package. You're not going to do a 1-for-1 trade with guys like that. You know, I think Doval's value is still really high. You know,
I think Doval.
I feel like a change of venue for Doval at this point might be the best thing for his career. Really,
I think you can package Doval, but I don't think people are that stoked on Luciano or, you know, VR or Meckler or like who else are you going to? It's like these guys that we want to get rid of. It's like people aren't blind. They get it. They're like, why do you guys want to get rid of these guys? Oh, yeah, we don't want them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting though. The Reds did spend $6 million on Taylor Rogers. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And who knows what he's going to be. I'm assuming after the San Diego debacle and the Milwaukee debacle and the San Francisco debacle that he's really not going to be much better than Cincy, you know.
Oh, he's going to get lit the hell up. That place, that's one of the smallest ballparks in all baseball. People launch into the river in that park.
Yeah.
The dude's going to get lit.
There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of right-handed batters going oppo against him into the river, right? I mean,
he had the lowest percentage out of any pitcher in all of baseball for swing and misses last year.
Yeah.
That's not what you want.
Well,
I don't think that's going to go well. I don't think that's going to go well.
Curtis will let us know how that goes for sure.
So, Paul, who are your players? Are you a Giants fan, Dodger fan, Red fan, Mariner? I forget your fandom, but if you're a Giants fan, then yes, people do get down on our players too much.
Totally. What is this? Casey saying, Tyler Rogers, really?
I think Tyler Rogers, again, is somebody, he's the reliever version of Webb. He gets used in high leverage situations time after time after time. He leads the league in appearances.
Right.
You know, it's like this guy doesn't get a lot of love because every once in a while he gives up, but a lot of times he comes through.
Listen, he had one really bad outing last year, and that's all anybody remembers about the guy. That just bummed me out, you know? I mean, occasionally he hangs a slider and he gets lit up, but I mean, pretty much, yeah, he's been the workhorse of the bullpen, right? And it's just, I think he's invaluable, right? And he's not that expensive. Just keep him around until his contract expires. Yeah, this is a good point right there. Matos is, I think Matos and Fitz are going to be just fine, you know.
I back that.
Yeah.
I think Matos is gonna probably be our right fielder. As you guys know, I want McRae. Let McRae play. Probably gonna make a whole campaign on this. Think it's really gonna take off too. But Matos had a really good winter ball. You know, he was rookie of the year. He and Christian said it last episode. I mean, the team was telling him what he needed to do last 2 seasons ago for the off season, and he did everything he was told.
Yep.
They said, bulk up. Your balls aren't going far enough. You got to get a little more muscle. He came back yoked, and I think he's a great player. He made some really good defensive plays after Jung-Hoo Lee got hurt. He robbed one like a day or two later off the wall. But it's getting crowded, especially if Luciano's supposed to play in the outfield too. I don't think anybody, it's just like the few times that I've mentioned Luciano as a DH, people are like, dude, he's 22. He can't be a DH. Like, and I kind of agree with that. Like, he's got to figure out some place to play. I think a lot of it is mental and in his head. I think like when you miss a ground ball that's that easy, you're really overthinking and like it's just in your head too much. Yep. And maybe, you know, a change of scenery for sure, but like maybe even just getting Farhan and Kapler gone so he's not bouncing back and forth all the time. Maybe like a little confidence in him and some stability, like you're not all over the diamond, you're playing this position. We'll see, but I'll tell you, he's the one guy at Fanfest because I went to San Jose and Sac. That guy never looks happy. Like he looked like he was the only one that looked bummed to be there, like just like not stoked. And so I don't know. Part of that attitude, I feel like carries over into your game. Like that was kind of Joey Bart too. He was just like, so like that always. And it was like, dude, you're a rookie and you suck. Like you better fucking like look up at your fans that are like hyped on you and like appreciate.
Yeah. Maybe if they embraced it a little more, it might help with the mental aspect of their game. I mean, look, we don't know what goes on inside these guys' heads. And you know that baseball on a psychological level is tough. It's a tough game, man. It's a grind. 162 games, okay? You staying fit through all that and the offseason working and all that. And then to have your head in the game every single day. I mean, you see sometimes some of the greatest players in the game make just a stupid error. And it's like, his head just wasn't in it in that moment, right? But the great players, their mental attitude, their mental game is strong. You know, they don't get rattled. They stay focused. You know, it's like they talk about sometimes certain pitchers, like the guys in the field are almost falling asleep because they're not having to do anything. The guy's pitching that well, but man, you gotta stay in the game mentally. So I don't know if that's Luciano's issue. It certainly was Doval's issue this year. He was mentally imploding. You could see it, but you know, we don't know. You see guys usually what's going on. So
yeah, I think some of those Latin players felt like they weren't getting the respect and treated well. You know, I mean, we said it before, but like sending Tyro to Sac and then just putting him on DFA, it was just like some stuff that was kind of like, that's like, why you don't do that to Yaz? You know, like Yaz has been horrible for a long stretch and you don't ever send him back to Sac. It's just like there's certain weirdness. Like I thought Tyro was going to be one of our best players. I thought he was going to be like a 30-30 candidate like 2 or 3 years ago.
2023, he was the MVP of the team. He really was. And like I predict that he's going to rake in Colorado. I think he's going to have a bounce back season in Colorado. And like, that's just like you talk about the change of venue. I mean, I think for Tyro, that's the best move that could have happened for him, you know. So we'll see.
I think it'll be a good spot for him. I mean, obviously hitting's a lot easier up there. The pop up, it goes out sometimes.
Yeah. I'll always remember Hunter Pence hitting that ball off the brick wall there.
Oh,
you remember that?
God.
It was like a line drive off the back brick wall behind the bleachers. This was like 512 feet or something.
Doesn't Barry Bonds have the longest ball ever hit there? Wasn't there one in right field that went like way in the upper deck and they marked the seed or something?
Yeah. Colorado, I think he has his longest home run. I think Stanton has still hit balls further than Barry, but you know. He hit one all the way out of Dodger Stadium. I know that.
No, but I mean the longest ball ever hit at
Colorado. Yeah.
I think so. Sure. Or that was a long time ago. It might have been beaten by now, but yeah, dude. I don't know. Like, whatever. Like the summary is, baseball is very close, and I'm smelling it, and I'm hyped for it, and I was talking to my friends today and like, they're all trying to get me to go to spring training. And I'm like, kind of thinking about it, like just go down for like 3 or 4 days and just see some action. And I don't know. That's what's going to be cool about the A's. A lot of people are talking about how, you know, crowded it's going to be and there's not enough seats and all that stuff. But that intimacy is going to be like no other stadium. And that's kind of cool. Like when you go to those small stadiums, if you're able to get in and have a seat and stuff, it's pretty cool to be that close and be able to hear everything, the umps, the guys in the bench, like, you know, you're right up on them. So there's going to be some benefit to that for sure.
Totally. Well,
I'm waiting for Senior to start his A's show.
Yeah, I know if you head down there, it's Peoria, and there's a pretty bitchin' skate park in Peoria, actually. So there's
a lot of skate parks down in that zone.
But that particular one's good. They got that amoeba pool, and the flow section's pretty righteous. It's a good park. You know, they got that weird X park there that's not as good because it's all metal coping. But yeah, the one in Peoria is good. So. Yeah, man. Well, we should probably wrap this up, and then, you know, hopefully there's going to be some more news to talk about here soon. We can jump on next week, and if there's not, maybe we should go down the revised 40 man and see what's going on there. I was looking at it, not much has changed, obviously. So I don't know. Do a little research, and anybody who's out there, any hot takes you got, anything you guys want to talk about, let us know. We can always jump on your subject matter as easily as we can jump on ours.
Yeah, for sure. We're happy to talk other teams and stuff. And,
Yep.
even like, we'll talk Cincinnati Reds and remind them about this.
Here we go.
Never forget. Never forget. Never forget. And oh, yeah, Salva's got something to tell you.
Fuck the Dodgers.
Look at this. Yes, senior, I was at the first Maloof Cup and the second one. And if there was a third one, I believe I was there as well.
I was at all of them. I filmed them.
Do you have Grosso eating shit on the mini mega and knocking his tooth out?
Maybe. I probably.
Oh,
I don't really remember that. What city was it?
It was at the Orange County Fairgrounds.
Oh, maybe I wasn't at that one.
They had that weird
I was always
vert
at
ramp.
East Coast.
They had the weird vert ramp that had the cave cut out, and they had this mini mega set up. And yeah, Grosso just piled, knocked the tooth out. Yeah, it was gnarly. The thing I remember about the Maloof was the street guys killed it. Booznitz was on fire at that thing. Leo Romero was gnarly. And then the vert contest, Sean White showing up and just being universally hated by all the real vert skaters. It was good. He was having temper tantrums and throwing his board and whatever.
I got a story about the Maloofs. We did the midway point of King of the Road in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we were flying back to San Diego, and there was a layover in Vegas. And Phelps gets up and he's like, "Later, dudes." And he just walks off. Because Maloof owned a hotel. Yeah. And so he just checked into a room there and waited for like a week because the end of the King of the Road ended in Vegas that year. So he's just like, oh man.
Yeah, we talked to the Maloof brothers after the second one, and we were like, dude, you guys own the Palms. You should build like a world-class indoor concrete park out there and make it a destination for people to go, man. You'd bring in all these people. And they were just like, yeah, whatever. I will tell you this. I just remembered I sat next to Snoop Dogg at that one where he showed up there.
Oh, really?
They came and cleared all the seats except me. I was like the last seat they weren't going to clear. And he sat down right there.
I was with Little John in New York. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, who's that other guy in New York that they paraded out during the World Series?
I don't know. Yeah. Fat Joe. People say he cost the Yankees the World Series.
Ice Cube, I got to give it to the Dodgers. Bringing Ice Cube out, the World Series was badass. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a Cube fan for sure. And then Fat Joe in New York was like, "That's all you got? That's all you got?"
I know, dude. You could have brought out so many other people.
You could have got Curtis Blow. You could have got, dude.
You could have got Jay-Z come out and like New York or something. I don't know, man. That guy was just like, wait, what are you doing? They should have got Wu-Tang out there. Wu-Tang. That would have been insane. Yeah, dude. If you guys haven't subscribed, we're trying to get to what is it, 200. We're almost there. We're like 20 away or something, and then that would be awesome. And I think we're talking about doing 40-man checkout. We're going to have an episode of that soon. And I was thinking about also, if we have not a lot to talk about until the season starts or there aren't any more moves, I think it would be interesting to go through the National League teams from last year, what their records are, what the Giants records were against them, and what we predict they will be this year, and that kind of stuff, and what they've done in the offseason. Like, are the Padres going to be as good as they were last year? No. Are the Diamondbacks going to be as good as they were last year? Probably. Are the Dodgers going to be better? Of course. Things like that. The Rockies are always going to suck. We know that. But the Brewers, they probably are getting worse, right? There's a lot of things like that no one's talking about. I think everyone's so mesmerized by the Japanese movement in Los Angeles that they're not seeing that, like, that's one team and there's 29 other teams that are not doing that. So you can't pick apart your team because they're not doing what the Dodgers are doing. Only the Dodgers are doing what the Dodgers are doing.
Yeah.
So, and
There
the less you say the Dodgers, the happier I am. You don't even need to acknowledge people like I don't think we need to acknowledge the ones we're not that stoked on.
Yeah. Well, I do know this. I know Cincinnati's going to be better this year.
They should be.
The Oakland/Sacramento A's are definitely going to be better this year. They picked up a whole bunch of guys.
Well, that's their fans are pissed. The minute they leave Oakland, they start doing all this stuff. They're like, "What?"
Like, Anaheim will probably be Anaheim, and
but I'm not really worried about the American League.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, those are teams that off the top of my head. I think, I don't know that the Mets are going to be better. I actually expect the Mets to miss the playoffs this year.
Really?
And Arizona, after getting rid of Christian Walker and the schlub they signed for first base, they're not getting better. Sorry.
Where did Walker go? To Houston?
Not sure.
I think he's on the Astros.
And then you saw Texas signed a whole slew of guys. We'll have to get into all of that and talk about all that. But there's some teams really went nuts this offseason. They signed a lot of guys,
The Phillies are always hanging around. What are the Braves going to do? Is Acuna back? Is Strider back? Like, those things are uncertain a little bit, I think. But yeah, it'll be interesting. We definitely have tons of stuff to talk about. And again, if you guys have topics you want us to discuss, always down. And please join the chat and bring your energy. I love the sarcasm, the humor, and the team support. Like, if you Mariners fans, I love it. You might want to go to our back. Was it 2 years ago? We had a podcast where we interviewed, what was his name? Something Craig, the Mariners fan.
Oh yeah. Why am I blanking on his name? I think
Paul Craig or something.
No.
But anyway, we interviewed a Mariners fan in season 1, actually. And we're always down. Like, we want to interview more players or people that just bring the energy and want to talk ball, because that's what we want to do.
Absolutely. And Senior, I get your reference. I would say let's call them the YOLO Causeways.
You explain this to me.
So when you drive to Sac on the 80 and you cross that elevated road, that's all the the lower, that floods out in the wintertime. And it used to be rice paddies. They grew all the rice right there.
Oh, is that the YOLO River?
The YOLO Causeway, that's what it's called.
Oh,
so we got the YOLO Causeways.
I think they got to just do Sac, just like lowercase s, big A, lowercase c. It's perfect. The A's right in the center, and I don't know. It's just, are you guys going to keep them green and yellow? Like, they don't want to reference any. I think they don't even want to call them the A's, and they might only be calling them the Athletics now.
Athletics, yeah. They put out I think it was a press release, and their new style guide is they can only be called the Athletics, and they got rid of the elephant, which pisses me off. And now they have the West Sac Bridge on the sleeve of the uniform, elephant.
It looks like the Bay Bridge. They didn't even really give it. Yeah, it's kind of like, you could have done better, but yeah, they don't want to give any mention to Sacramento, which is weird too. Like, none of it's going to say Sacramento anywhere.
Yeah.
I just think that owner's got to go. I think that team could be amazing if the owner goes. I think it would just be pretty cool. And then also RIP, obviously, to Ricky Henderson. Today was his memorial over in Oakland. And so that was going on today in the Bay. And that's why Dusty Baker was supposed to be at Fanfest today, and they took his name off. And that was because he went to Ricky's memorial today. So that's a heavy one. Ricky's, to me, one of the greatest players of all time. He's just such a great talent and awesome personality. It's hard to not like Ricky Henderson, no matter what team you like.
Yep. Yeah, if John Fisher sells, dude, the Reggie Jackson group got a hold of the A's. Can you imagine how badass that would be?
It would be super good.
Great.
Hey, you guys, I don't know what happened tonight, but we always have to.
It's time to shit on Farhan.
Forgot to throw that one out tonight. Yay, Farhan, fuck you for leaving Buster all this shit and people already upset with him for all the stuff you left. Never forget, Buster was hired because Farhan couldn't do the job they wanted. He's not a magician. It's going to take time, but I got faith in the guy they call Buster. So
in Buster we trust.
In Buster we trust, and let McCray play. And that's about it for tonight, guys. Thanks for joining, huh?
Yeah.
If you got a friend that might like it, tell people, spread the word. Let's try to grow the channel and get ready for 2025 baseball.
Yeah, and I know it's tough to have friends other than Giants fans, but if you do have friends that are fans of other teams, we love to get other people in here and talk about it and do interviews about what's going on with your club in your city. So if you guys out there know anybody who's kind of itching to get on and talk ball in any other town, fuck, let's do it.
Yep, for sure. Well, cool, Christian. Thanks for last minute. Was it red alert or yellow alert? It wasn't red. It was yellow alert.
Yeah, good enough.
You guys have a good weekend. Stay dry if it's pouring out there like it is here, and stay safe. And we'll be checking in again soon. Take care.
Yeah, see you, everybody. Thank you.
Later.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Skaters on Baseball. If you liked what you heard, please spread the word. Give us a good review, or hell, blow us up on your social media if you're down. Follow us at Skates on Base on Instagram for baseball news and other fun stuff. We love comments and listener participation, so bring it with an audio clip or an email. You can email us at skatersonbase@gmail.com. We're everywhere you get your podcasts, and we'll be here all season long.
Let's go, San Francisco. Let's go, Giants.
I'm excited to give everything that I have for these next 6 seasons and, see where it takes us.
Adios, Pelota!
See you soon. Thank you.
And I am forever a Giant.